It was good.
Oh, yes.
Have you done one of these before?
No. I watched them.
Oh, welcome to the hot seat.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Literally, the hot seat.
Yeah.
So welcome to episode 5 of Fretboard TV. Very excited to be here. Myself, Joe Sierra, partner at Fretboard. To my immediate left, I have Chris Ellison in the hot seat, director of sales extraordinaire, also a fellow drummer. And then to my far left, Mr. Mike Walle, who is assistant brewer, driver fill-in when needed, and bass player for us. So we've got an exciting panel today. We're excited to give everybody to get together and talk, right? So,
Yeah, man.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first episode where all 3 panel members here have played music since we've been about that high, right? So I guess in kicking off, talk a little bit about when you started, Mike, when you started, Chris, and let's talk about music a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I had some friends in this was actually junior high, that were really into the Sex Pistols, and they wanted to play God Save the Queen, and that was their goal, and so they all learned it, but they didn't have a bass player, and they asked me to buy a bass, and so that's what I did, and just kind of learned learned on my own for a minute, and then started taking lessons once I actually got into it. But it was a nice little intro, so I've been playing since 13, I guess.
So no one else wanted to play bass is what happened?
Not in my little clique. Yeah. So I ended up I was the bass guy. And always been just bass. That's all I play. I don't there's a lot of guys that play bass and do guitar or, some other thing, but my thing is bass, and so that's where I'm at. Yeah.
and you do it well.
Yeah, thanks.
Actually. Yeah. So I'm Chris Ellison. Hi, guys. I've been playing drums since, I guess I started really in 8th grade. It's something I wanted to start much earlier than that, so I was a little taller than this, but my dad would never let me play drums. He played trumpet, and both my parents were music majors, and later in life I found out my dad didn't want me to play drums because my mother broke off some dates with him to date one of the drummers in the drum line. And he held some grudges there. So
the deep, dark secrets.
Deep, dark secrets. They came out a little bit later on, but no, so, I'm a pretty stubborn person. When I want to do something, I'm going to do it. So I avoided everything else, played baseball until finally, I was old enough to just start playing on my own, and Mom got him to give in, and then I drove him absolutely crazy as soon as I put that drum kit in the house, and away we went from there.
Who were some of your influences as drummers when you were getting started?
Well, actually, so when I did start playing, my grandmother was around quite a bit, and she turned me on to these old Buddy Rich records and Gene Krupa records.
My dad was
these Battle of the Drums.
Buddy Rich, yeah.
Yeah, so I would listen to these big bands, and I was just blown away by the Buddy Rich chops, and actually I really liked big band music at the time too. I thought it was really cool. But so honestly, that's what really first drove me crazy about wanting to play the drums. Is just hearing this guy's the leader of the band. He's doing all this cool stuff.
So you can do a single stroke roll on a quarter there?
No, I can't. No, absolutely not. But no, it was pretty amazing, just seeing what those guys did. Even, a lot of people don't know, but Sammy Davis Jr. was a pretty phenomenal drum set player back then too. Yeah. And you'd see these guys, and even a lot of these old big band drummers back then, they tap danced, and a lot of them did tap and played drums. Yeah. And there's some footage that you can see of Buddy Rich doing drum battles with Sammy Davis Jr. where he's on his tap shoes, and Louis Belson's over here playing, and they'll go back and forth and trade dates and whatever. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That's really kind of where I got started with the drums, and from there it was just since I started late, I was like I said, in 8th grade everyone had already started band for 3 years, and I buddied up with the best drummer in the grade at the time, and just kind of tried to learn as much as I could.
Cool. What was your first band? How old were you then?
Well, my first band, I guess, would be the school bands. I did the jazz bands. Sure. I did the marching bands. I really got into drum corps stuff. But my first band in high school was called Earwax with 2 X's. And
Love it.
it was great when we play shows. People would throw Q-tips up on the stage. It was a pretty cool thing.
Why wouldn't you?
That's right. But I lived with my best friend Shag, who was a guitar player, and we used to make a lot of music in his basement. We were all big Rush fans and Police fans, and so we'd learn some tunes or pieces of tunes. Like I always would get frustrated because he would never learn a whole song. So, but yeah, so we would learn stuff for the talent shows or whatnot. I think we did 3 parts of 2112 Overture one year, and one year we did a Police tune, and that was really kind of my first rock and roll bands.
So you guys were pretty serious though, right off the bat, then, right?
Oh yeah. One of my drumline instructors, he owned a case company called XL Percussion, and one of his artists was Neil Peart. So in high school, we used to get concert tickets and we get posters signed and we get to go to the Rush shows, and it was a pretty cool thing to be able to see it up close when everything's still so new. I felt like I was late to the rock and roll thing because jazz was kind of my early first love, but yeah, it was kind of cool to be able to get in there and wow, here's one of the best rock and roll drummers on the planet, playing this huge kit, and you're young and impressionable, and it's like pretty amazing stuff. Well, you don't have to be young and impressionable. Yeah. I mean, it's great stuff no matter how old you are. But
yeah. I feel like we should do a toast to Neil Peart.
We should. We should
for sure.
We released Rush, I think, like a day or two before Neil died.
Yeah, that's true.
Joe and I were together when we found out about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you were? That's right. I remember being on you actually, we talked.
Yeah.
That was a little emotional, really.
It was.
Yeah, that was a big influence, for sure.
Absolutely.
Lifelong drummer, let's talk about how that's been for you in life. I mean, when did you go from wanting to play the drums to realizing and everybody treating you like a drummer, which we know how awesome we all get treated in the band, right? So
how long was I poor, or how long have I been poor? Is that the question?
yes. So yeah, talk about the impact of being a drummer in your life, right?
No, it's awesome. I mean, I struggle with daily routine and doing the same thing over and over and over. And as a musician, the cool thing was, you're always creating events and you're always setting yourself up for the next big record or the next big show. And, there's always something to get excited about. So I think that's the one thing that is just great. I mean, it keeps it feeling healthy and fun all the time. I mean,
it's a great outlet for emotion and anything. Yeah. Stress reliever almost.
For sure. You get to go to a different venue, you get to go to a different city, you get to meet new people, new bands. That was always a really cool thing. So I think, the way that it's affected my daily life it's really allowed me to stay pretty active and a much bigger social scene, and where people are interested in the same things. We're interested in music. I mean, that's how I've met all of you guys. You know what I mean? I mean, I've met
you
so many
subbed
people
for a gig, and I met you at the gig for the first time, and I think we warmed up and we realized that, oh my God, I think we can get along.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it was, and that's been the biggest thing. Is it's just allowed me to meet so many people throughout my life. Music's just awesome for that.
Well, I know I took lessons from you for 3 years or something as well.
Oh, we had a blast.
We started our beer banter back then. You were like, you gotta try this hop slam. I can't believe this hop slam, right? So that was awesome. But, I think you're in a unique category. Wally, I don't know if you're in this boat as well, but I mean, you kept the lights on and put food on the table with music. I mean, you were in bands and you were teaching as well. I mean, music was your sole source of income, and I think that's incredible. I was never able to accomplish enough money coming in the door where I didn't have to subsidize it with
I think I was in 7 different arrangements at one point I was in, and still painting some houses when I could, but it was a great supplement for moments like that. It's tough. It's tough to do, but it's rewarding when you are just doing it.
Right.
Do you enjoy teaching as much as you do playing, or do you have a preference? Or
I love teaching. I've been teaching since I started teaching really my junior year of high school, and I've continued teaching. I still teach today.
Nowdrum.com.
Yeah, that's it. But no, I mean, I feel like, there's a lot of great resource out there now with the internet. We didn't really have that growing up, but I still feel like, and I feel that I'm a very hands-on learner myself, so I feel like there's really nothing like sitting in a room with somebody and doing the hands-on approach and really just, having somebody that can help put you on a track. It's the same reason people pay, personal trainers. Sure, you can go to the gym and work out, but I mean, there's a bazillion things you could be working. In music, there's even more. It's like, do I work on my jazz chops? Do I work on my Brazilian stuff? Do I work on this or that? Having somebody that can help guide you and keep you being productive, and really kind of bring everything in, really helps. One of my drum instructors in the past, his name's Kenny Ernoff. I know you wanted to kind of talk about him a little bit,
absolutely.
But when he does his drum clinics, one thing that he likes to bring up in his drum clinics is he says, I'd like to challenge you to focus on one thing for an entire year. And that's a really tough thing to do, is to pick one thing to focus on. Like, I'm going to focus on this and do that for a year and see where you're at, see what that growth looks like. And I think that's a pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that transcends a lot of things.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so easy to stop and start on everything and not just really take the time to get, very proficient.
Yeah,
absolutely.
In one certain thing, right? So,
do you have any favorite moments of being on the stage or on the road for back in the day?
Oh my gosh, a lot of this has been shoved away into my storage banks until I'm like old and gray and have nothing else to do but to try to find those things. But no, I've had a lot of really cool things. I've a lot of great stage experiences.
Yeah, you were on the road quite a bit.
Yeah, I spent about 13 years on the road.
Yeah.
All with one band or different bands?
All with one band. Band was called Homunculus, and we did, we were all friends in college, and we started playing some music together in our basement, and basement turned into 3 or 4 kegs, which turned into the cops coming a lot. Next thing you know, you're in the bars, and then you have managers, and you're buying vehicles, and you're doing records, and you're moving around.
Yeah.
So what was the craziest thing that you saw? What prompted the cops?
Oh, no. Actually, the cops are really cool. I went to IU, and they always understood. They knew that there was a band playing here, and they were, we were doing our thing, and just started getting a little too big. But yeah, I've seen a lot of crazy things on the road. Probably not appropriate to talk about on this show.
No, it's appropriate.
It's appropriate. Condense one down.
We'll decide.
No.
I remember playing with you guys, though. It was intimidating. You guys were great. We played with you, I think, at Taste of Cincinnati. We had to follow you. And then, like, a Newport's Arts and Music Festival right next to Southgate House. This was probably like 99 or something. But yeah, it was awesome to see you guys because you all had the suits on. And it was there was a whole look and a thing to it. And it was cool.
It was like suiting up to play baseball. You put your suit on. It's your game face on, I
love the dedication of the homunculus back then. It was cool.
Yeah, well, it was good. It was, a lot of writers, a lot of, when you're in a band, you do that too. You got to figure out how to focus your energy, just like, any business, and we didn't stick with it long enough. I think if we did, we probably would have gone some places. And but as you get older, you start having kids and families and responsibilities and, things like that. But
yeah,
Chris, are you really not going to give us any stories?
What's that?
Are you really not going to give us a single story?
Well, I mean, no.
He's got a relationship to keep, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not even that. It's not even that. You just see some crazy people out there, man. You see some crazy things, and yeah.
All right, then fine. I'm asking it. Cupcake. Where'd it come from? There's got to be a story there, right?
There's a little bit of a story. One of the guys that I played guitar with, he's a brother of mine, and he's not a real brother, but he's a brother through music. And his name's Matt Wilson, and he and I used to play a lot of music together. But we also had a job at the music school. It was the music services program. So we would fix things that were broken, or take projectors to classrooms, or move pianos and things like that. But we had to be at work at 8 a.m. every day. So I had long hair at the time, and I can be a little bitch sometimes. But in the mornings, I just really want to be left alone for the good first part of the morning. And every morning he'd be like, "Oh, what's the matter, Cupcake? What's the matter, Princess?" And he would just drive me crazy. And I was just like, "Get the fuck away from me." And so he just is one of those guys and one of those people that can make something stick. He's around all the time. Anytime I'd say something, "Oh, what's wrong, Cupcake?" It was Cupcake this, Cupcake that.
on.
And it caught on, and it's, really not that interesting of a story. But what is interesting is if you asked any one of those guys around me at that time, they would all have a little different take on it. But it really comes from Matt and I in the mornings after playing music till 2 or 3 in the morning. First thing in the morning, he wanted to just kind of get his digs in on me the best that he could. So
let's talk a little bit about you guys' relationship. I mean, Walle, you spoke about opening for Homunculus.
Yeah.
When did you guys go from being aware of each other and each other's bands to friendship and ultimately playing together? How did all that progress for you?
Well, I remember you subbed for, I was in a band waiting on Walle.
that was really the beginning of it all.
And I didn't know you at that point, but I know my drummer at the time, Jason Meiske, contacted you, had Chris come in, and he just showed up at the gig. He learned all the songs and was learning them that day while we were setting up. I remember you taking notes like, all right, what's this one?
That was an interesting conversation with Jason.
I bet it was. He was
very, very concerned about me not ruining his image as a drummer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He loves the craft, and he's way into it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he was a nice
fun.
guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy. But yeah, I came into that gig. It was actually at RP McMurphy's.
Yeah.
I came and subbed, and Mike was warming up, and I started playing along with him, and immediately, that's the great thing about music. You can have a connection without saying a word to somebody.
We knew it right away.
I mean, you're having musical conversations, and right away, it's like, oh, okay, we're dating now.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah.
And it was funny because it seemed like that gig happened, and it was just a fun moment or whatever. And then the next thing you know, we're getting calls from New Fidelity Studios, and we worked on that first Taylor Shannon record together.
Yeah, we did.
We did a bunch of work for Elton Clifton, who is an engineer here in town, and
we were on the Asia's album.
Yeah,
we did that stuff at New Fidelity.
We just ended up in the room together a lot, and then we put this thing together with young Kyle Hackett, who's not so young anymore, but I think Kyle was 18 or 19 at the time.
He was 18, I think. Yeah.
He came to me and said, "Hey, would you do this Battle of the Bands stuff with us?" And I said, "Absolutely not."
I'd never done it ever in my life. Anything like that.
I said I'm a little too old for that. Nor do I didn't care for it then, nor do I care for it now. But he said, "Well, what if
Except for our Battle of the Bands?
Yeah, right.
That you can beat an interpretation on, but that's another story.
Well, that's a totally different story. But with the Kyle thing, he was like, "Well, what if I make it to the finals?" And I was like, "Okay, if you make it to the finals, I'll help put together a band for you that'll take you the rest of the way." And he did. He made it on his own. And then so I called Walle, and he busted out his upright bass, and we made it acoustic for the semifinals, and then electric for the finals. And we got one of those big checks as big as the table here handed to us, and they brought in all these Nashville people, and it was hilarious. It was pretty cool.
Well, awesome stuff. We're going to take us into a quick break so we can see what's happening in the tap room this weekend. We'll be back in a few seconds.
Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. Cheers.
Welcome back.
Well, Chris, you've been a part of Fretboard since the beginning as our lead salesman. And a question for you is, has your experience as a musician traveling around doing gigs helped you in this transition of becoming the sales guy that you are for our company?
Oh, absolutely. Playing music, you're constantly out around people in the public eye. I mean, you're talking to promoters, you're talking to people in the crowd, you're talking to other musicians, you're talking to your people at home. I mean, so I think, just being in a social environment through the music has really lent itself to the sales part of this. I mean, I'm not afraid to talk to anyone. It's just,
No, I love it.
You have the confidence to do it, and some people have it, some people don't, but it can be learned. And I think the music, playing live music really kind of helped that, and that's a big asset that helped me in a sales role.
Do you have any advice for somebody that's getting into sales? Because I mean, you are our lead salesman, and you have crushed it, helping us out. And I wonder if you have any tips for anybody out there that are. I mean, for me, for navigating those waters.
Yeah, I do. For a good part of my life, a lot of people have told me, just because I've done well socially, and I talk to people very easily. that I would do very well in sales. And my response has always been, well, I don't really think I would be very good at sales unless I really believe in what I'm trying to sell. You know, like I
think that's key.
Passion sells.
It is.
I think that's what has made me successful at Fretboard and has really helped me feel good about what I'm doing. I mean, I cannot imagine trying to be a salesperson in this world, in any industry.
Yeah. There was a portion of my life where I sold for like 5 years and I just didn't care for it because I wasn't passionate about it, you know, and you have to find your passion.
I might want to shoot myself in the head. And
try selling Microsoft licensing. All my IT friends out there watching. Yeah. A little hard to get passionate by that one. Talk about core cows and good 365 suites and stuff, right?
Yeah, no thanks. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, I sell beer. I sell awesome beer, and I work for a company that is nothing but fueled by passion around here, and it just makes it so easy to get behind.
So is that the best part about being in sales for a brewery? That passionate connect, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if I would be successful with every brewery. I think I'm successful with this brewery because of that passion.
Yeah. I think because of the people, which makes me so passionate about being here too. You know, it's a huge part of why we all click. Right. Because we do click, you know, and that's key for me.
I agree 100%.
And we make really good beer.
Yeah, we make really good beer.
Thank you.
Mike makes a lot of really good beer.
I've made 240 barrels consecutive days now.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I've been on the brew deck every day for, you know, like 2.5 weeks.
Gosh, you might as well just put a little cotton in there or something.
Yes. Got in at 5 today.
I got here at 5:30 today, up at 4:30 and made the beer.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's right.
Segue. Yeah. So speaking of beers, what are your favorite beers to talk to customers? Do you find that they're the ones you like to drink the most? Going back to passion, that's how I sell, right? But that's not necessarily fair to the section of our portfolio that I don't enjoy to drink, just because that's my palate. So talk to me about what you talk about from Fretboard and how that works for you.
I think initially I was that way. I wanted to sell what I was really into beer-wise, you know, talking about, you know, those are the beers that I knew the most about, you know, at the time. And those are the beers that I was excited about. So I'd want to share that knowledge or share, I really love this beer. But at this point, I really go in and I try to talk to the client and to get a good understanding of their business. You know, what is it that you're looking for?
Yeah.
What is it?
Everything sells different in different areas, right?
Yeah, let's just see, you know, what is it that your clientele is looking for? And I feel like we've got such a good portfolio here that, I mean, we've got something for everybody. So, and we make such a great variety of beers. Yeah. I mean, and they're all good beers, you know, so I enjoy talking about whatever works for them and whatever they might be excited about, because I'm excited about all of our beers.
Awesome.
So, what are you drinking now versus like 15 years ago? What's on your palate beer-wise?
This Juicy IPA.
Yeah, it was off my radar too. I mean, 15 years ago, but it's become IPA is what I do, and it's I get
think, you know, 15 years ago, I was still drinking pretty good beer back then, but when I first started drinking beer. The first real craft beer that I can think of, and I don't even know if it's craft or what do you call it? It was called Weinhardt's Boar's Head Red, and you could buy cases of these bombers, and it was just a red ale, and it was I would drink the shit out of it. It was great. I mean, it was just awesome beer.
Yeah.
And then really, you know, just through traveling and playing music was how I really got exposed to a lot of different beer. You know, if we were in Colorado, you'd end up at these small little breweries and they'd have their own beer, or you go up to Michigan and you'd be drinking Bell's beer, the East Coast, you know, Yuengling I was drinking, that's not craft beer, but, you know, years before it was ever here in the Midwest. And but wherever my travels would take me, it was all about the food that was local to that area and the beer that was local to that area.
So obviously you're in sales. I've done sales for 20 years. I know sales is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yes.
Your phone can go off at any time. You can get a text at any time, and you got to tend to things. That's just part of the gig. Obviously, you're a full-time musician. You give drum lessons. How do you find time to do anything else, and what are some of your other hobbies, right?
Finding balance is always a tricky thing,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've got 2 kids of my own. I've got a girlfriend. She has 2 kids, and we try to make time. Weekends are great. Try to get away and shut it down whenever I can. I went out and bought some Sea-Doos a couple of years ago, and those things go a good 78 mile an hour on the water. It's a nice way to blow off some steam when you need to.
Not answering the phone on one of those, are you?
Actually, I have answered the phone many times.
All right.
But just it gets me down to going down to the lake. I just believe in if you're going to work hard, you should play hard. If you're not going to do that, you're going to burn out. You're going to be toast. So I've always felt that way. Sometimes I play a little harder than I work, but these days I definitely work harder than anything else. And you have to make that time. You have to make that time for your mental, for your physical, for your family, for your everything. And I wish I could do a better job than I do. You know what I mean? But I'm trying.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
Chris, Brad Davidson sent me a text today with the picture of you from a couple months ago where you shaved your beard. And he said, ask Chris when he's going to shave his beard off again.
Not happening.
You missed the baby face, Chris.
Never, ever?
I can never say never about anything, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen anytime soon.
That's all I knew you as was the baby face before, but
yeah,
I like the beard.
I like how high is the double chin.
If you could jam with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
If I could jam with anyone?
That's right.
Frank Zappa.
Zappa.
But I have played music with Ike Willis, who was the lead guitar player for Frank Zappa's band for quite a few years, right?
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I've played B.B. King's New York City with him and a few other places, and I don't know. Playing in that band would be amazing. A friend of mine plays in Dweezil's band right now, and I'm so jealous of that gig.
Yeah.
I would love that gig. It was awesome.
Instrument does he play?
He plays drums.
He plays drums.
He went to school with me. He's a couple years behind me. His name's Ryan Brown. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your entire life, and a phenomenal drummer.
You have to pick 3 bands to play one night on the Fretboard stage. They can be dead or alive as well. What 3 bands or acts are you putting on our stage?
Oh, geez. I don't know. I'd probably pick current bands. Lettuce. I really like the band Lettuce. I think that band would be awesome for our stage.
Yes, please.
John Brown's Body is not a band anymore, but we do a lot of reggae music here, and I think that band is just fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then Talk is another band that's out there right now that's great. I know I'm not saying like Tool or any of these giant guys because I know it's not realistic, so I'm picking things that can actually
realistic. We want that, But, all right, we'll take the 3 that you just said.
I'll take my picks.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, they seem natural. You didn't really have to reach too far for them. You have 1 artist's full discography and 1 brewery's full lineup to your disposal to survive an apocalypse with.
Yes.
Who are you choosing? 1 artist's full discography and 1 brewery, not Fretboard, that you get to drink their beer. That's it.
The brewery's the hard part. I would probably pick Frank Zappa or I'd pick Miles Davis, but I'm gonna go with Zappa. I'll take his full discography. Beer wise, the entire beer lineup. I don't know that I know a brewery that extensively to pick another brewery. I guess for me, I would pick 3 Floyds just because I go there and I know a lot of their beers and I know I'd be safe making that choice.
Nice. All right.
Well, I'd like to thank Joe and I'd like to thank Chris for your time, and I'd like to thank the audience for watching this episode. It's been a lot of fun to get to know everything that you are about fretboard and drumming, and it's been a good time. Please leave a comment. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Yeah. And thank you very much.
No, thank you guys for your time.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for episode 6 next week. We're going to have Joe Frank from Foaling Warehouse come in and sit with us. And Mitch and I are going to talk to him about what foaling is a little bit, and
Yeah,
awesome.
an event that we've got
Good
coming up.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Good times.
cheers, boys. Thank
Cheers,
you very
man.
much.
Right
Thank you,
on.
Fretboard. Thank you, Mitch.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.